Black Earth offers a full suite of humic solutions, from high-purity granules to powder, liquid, and soluble formulations, all powered by pure humulite. Trusted by growers worldwide from one of the world's rarest humulite reserves. Grow stronger with the power of Black Earth humulite. Learn more from mine to market by visiting blackearth.com.
I'm Kelvin Hepner for RealAgriculture, and we're at the Canadian Federation of Agriculture's summer meeting in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Pleased to be joined now by Chris McKee. He is the Senior Vice President of Business Development with the National Circle for Indigenous Agriculture and Food. Chris, bring us up to speed. What's been happening with your organization since the formation? Is it now a year and a half ago, about somewhere there?
About a year and a half. So we really did the soft launch of the Future of Food 2 Januaries ago and really kicked off what it was going to look like through our funding partners and everything else. And in the last 16 to 18 months, we are engaging with all 645 First Nations that are interested in agriculture across the country, be it maple syrup, bison, crops, aquaculture, whatever that looks like and where they want to go with it. And we're really here to provide a white glove service just to accelerate and promote and enhance that area in agriculture and really close the gap on the marginalization that's happened for years. So we're 50 plus projects in the works right across Canada. We're hiring staff to get it up to speed and to be able to do those supports, but really at the end of the day, we provide a service with no charge to accelerate that industry and make sure that the Indigenous peoples, in collaboration with Western primary ag, because without the research and data analytics and generational knowledge, we have to walk together to figure out what this will look like.
Are there certain common gaps that are coming to the forefront, or that you're certainly recognizing in terms of places, opportunities where your organization can step in?
Yeah, a ton for sure. We have 3 pillars. I mean, it's, the capacity development is very huge. I mean, the generational knowledge that is in Western primary ag is hundreds of years of farmers that are learning from their dad and their grandpa, and it's passed down, and myself included. I can remember getting pulled out of bed at 2:30 in the morning by my dad telling me, your arm's longer than mine and we got to pull a calf. So that was all learned behavior. Well, a lot of Indigenous communities, they don't have that generational knowledge to rely on. So the capacity building side and partnering with, Canadian Federation of Agriculture and other organizations that are under their umbrella to get that knowledge sharing that's in there. The other one is the business development side, where they may have access to land, but they don't know where to start or what to start it on. The business plan, the financing, the access to capital is a huge thing. The land that is across the country, there's 350 plus million acres that are Indigenous access lands, First Nations primarily, but they're all titled to the Crown. So they don't have the same access to capital as traditional farmers, and they don't, again, to the generational knowledge, don't have that access to dad and grandpa who already have equipment or any infrastructure that they can use as for that capital. So, and we all know in agriculture you need land, labor, and capital. Well, they got the labor force. It's there. They have the land base, and it's there for use. Now, how do we get the capital access and get the mentorship in place so that it is successful and sustainable?
What are some of the next steps you see or hurdles that you'd like to see cleared when it comes to improving that access to capital?
Well, I think if we can think of inventive ways, like we have the loan security programs that are out there that are securing financing and different options for these nations. Crop insurance is another example that, because there's not a title, it's hard to get that coverage and the same support. The SCAPA suites that's right across, box 2 or 3 is $50,000 in farming income and expense. Nations don't file income tax, so they don't, right out of the gate, even just the verbiage that are in our programming to make it more inclusive so that someone looking at an application form feels like they fit in the picture. And in rooms like this, I mean, when we go to events and we're across this country and we're doing stuff, Indigenous people don't see themselves in this room. Right here to now, you have one visible Indigenous person, and that's our president and CEO in the room. So, and we're talking about, with that generational context, guys are buying multi-million-dollar pieces of equipment to put on a farm where a lot of nations are just looking to start out. It might be like me when I was a kid with a 1086 tractor that's the fit, but they don't see themselves in these conversations because we're talking millions and millions of dollars that are invested it would be no different than me going into a place of worship that's not a mosque or something, where I may not worship there, but do I feel comfortable when I'm the outlier in those conversations and rooms?
Yeah, that kind of puts it in perspective. Do you see a need for advocacy in terms of policy change in this area, or is that something that you leave up to other organizations in terms of addressing some of these barriers?
Yeah, I think like our role in the policy and legislative side is being that advocate, but also adding that voice to those conversations. The lobbyists, the people that are great at this, the CFA, the organizations, they have that long-standing history on the Hill, and they have those relationships. But in a lot of conversations, we don't have that Indigenous piece that's on it. So that would be, I would say, our role. Our biggest role right now is really just journeying alongside to build the capacity of those organizations that look to be different and to do different things and engage with those Indigenous communities, because there's a huge fear of approach and there's a fear of offending, and it exists. But until we are driving down a road in rural any province across here and we stop on the side of the road and ask how the crops are running, and we have a conversation about grad and everything else, well, when we can start not being afraid to stop at a community and do the same conversation and start building that relationship without an agenda, that's when we're actually going to move forward.
Do you feel like you're making progress?
I feel like the partners that are coming on with the NCIAF, as well as the phone that hasn't stopped ringing in the last 16 to 18 months, we're absolutely making a difference, and the uptake is there. We knew that it would be busy. I don't think we thought to ourselves that this is going to be at the rate that it is, but it speaks to the want and the desire of everyone to accelerate an industry with all partners at the table, not just the traditional where we've been, so that we have, by 2050, when we need to feed the world and increase food production, the only way we're going to get there is through innovation. We can't create more land, we can't create more space, but those partnerships and those relationships, and then going back to traditional knowledge along with the research and development and the Western knowledge, we can pull this off. I mean, we showed a video yesterday with Cowis' farms. I mean, they're up to 5,000 acres. They're an on-run, fully staffed by Indigenous people that are running that entire operation. We've helped craft breweries in Ontario get to an export market, and outside of that, we've helped communities just get bison onto the land. We've built youth camps with other nations to empower the youth to get back into it and create those youth warriors. We've done advocacy work and been up and highlighted aquaculture projects all over the country, and every day we're moving a step further, and we're having that one more conversation. And the events that we go to or anything, there's a lot of smart people in this room. If we change the mindset or a different thought process of one person in this room, we've done it. I don't need 500 people in the room to think different or grab a glove. I want one every single day to just look different, or not get a perception off of social media somewhere because their cousin's brother's in-law reposted a story from 8 years ago and they think that's the truth. If you listen to what we say in the stories and those success stories, you make the choice when you walk away from here, but at least you took the time to educate yourself instead of just the telephone game that we play.
Finally, then, I need to also ask you, Chris, about this agreement with the Canadian Federation of Agriculture, Memorandum of Understanding being signed by both parties. What does this mean, or what's the reason, the rationale behind this?
Well, I think, the biggest thing for us, and I won't speak for the CFA, but for us, at the end of the day, the more people that we can have conversations and connections to even matchmake for joint ventures in the industry. So if we're the trusted fact on the Indigenous side, the CFA and all the partnering organizations are the trusted sources on that side. And now if we work as that matchmaker to bring those two different worlds together, they bring a huge Rolodex, we bring a huge Rolodex, and then we just figure out what is the best path forward for everyone to accelerate the industry. So memorandums of understanding like this and partnerships like this, when you have like-minded organizations that want to kick the field goal instead of just running 3 passes, I think everyone wins in the end.
Thanks for your time, and we'll certainly keep following what you guys are up to. Thank you, Chris.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Thanks so much.